Okay, so we are to reassembly mode. Um, Basically going to be deburring and cutting things up, basically putting it back together how the manual states, except for probably some different steps that are going to be a little different sequence from the original build. I know that I've got some additional systems routing holes on the left wing, so I am going to need to use the step drill to start those out. And instead of like measuring, I'm just going to basically use the previous rib that I cut out as a template as to how big they need to be and where exactly they need to be. Because why not just use it as a template? Because I already have it. So that's that, and we're going to get started here. It really feels good to be peeling this blue stuff off here again. Ah, punched parts. Ah, yeah, punched parts. All right, so next is the examine this piece for damaged holes. There are a couple of them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just stick these number 4 rivets through and just sort of see where the wiggle room is. There's a couple that I absolutely know I'm going to want to do. There's some that I won't. But again, based on the reinstallation, the fact is that you can't fit
You can't pre-assemble this. Like, so when we did this originally in the wing, these pieces were pre-assembled, and then we hung the bottom skin over this flat bracket. You can't, there's no way that you can pre-assemble this and get it in there. So you have to put the ribs in place and then slide this baby in from the outside, basically opposite of the way we disassembled it. So there's no way to really do it well. So now it's a matter of, can I do things like get my squeezer in here, or should I use pop rivets in this? That's the decision I have to make. So, or will I be able to buck some of them with a bucking bar like through here? That's going to be really tight because there's another rib that's, you know, this far away. So I may just upsize these all to number 20 holes and use Cherry Max, since they are steel mandrel and they are technically stronger than the solid rivets. We'll see. I think what I'll do is I'll start with a couple of them that leave a couple as -4s, but I know I'm going to have to do cherries in these. I'm just going to have to see how everything is going to sort of fit together if I do it. Back to work. Okay, so we've got them all ready to go. I ended up drilling them all up to number 20 because, yeah, they were all a little oversized when I actually put a rivet in there. There were only 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 that were still like actually good for a number 30 or a 1/8 inch rivet. So we're going to number 20s on all of them. And in order to get this rivet squeezer, or not squeezer, puller in there, decided to, who was it on Slack? Guy named Brian. Brian had a note like, oh, just grind down your squeezer. Or you got a cheap rivet puller, just cut the top off, grind it down so it fits in a nice, tight place like that. So, let's see how this works. Voiceover Ryan here. Turns out that I was reassembling this root rib that Vans had sent, as it was the next point in the directions. I just wanted to do it in order, but this rib was incorrect and I didn't really catch it on my inventory. W-1010-1-14- is what should have been sent. They sent something else that was like, the -14 was missing from it. I don't know what they'd be used for, but the holes in the root, or in the spar flange, did not line up, and had to get new parts. So that was another like 2+ week wait, but I didn't discover it until later.
All right, not so bad. As you may have seen, I was testing the tolerances on those with the number 30 drill bit. Mostly pretty good. I had to upsize 3 of them to number 20 for the Cherry Max, but given I have a long straight rivet set, I should be able to get that in there and put those back. I was thinking about Cherry Max, but like this is at an angle, right? So getting the rivet set in there is going to be pretty challenging. I'm sorry, getting the hand puller in there is going to be pretty challenging, whereas a straight rivet set or even an offset will get those easily. And given the fact that they are universals and they're not, I mean, these 2 holes are very good. Same with these 2 holes, very good. But these 3 that were a bit oversized, figured I'd just go for the cherries on those. Now we'll take these ribs back out, deburr everything, put it back together, and actually start putting some rivets in it. Oh, and this is definitely a challenge. The instructions call it out. It says, you know, this step is going to take some patience. Getting these ribs, in and out of here. You really do have to flex them quite a bit. And like these tabs here are going to get caught on the shop heads of all those rivets. So you really kind of have to take your time and sort of gently flex it to get it out of there. It's definitely a process. So you sort of bend it in the middle. Sort of pull this up a little bit, as gently as you can, sort of walk it out. There we go.
Before I go, there is one thing I'd like. Do you have a recent case? A case, say, in the last year or 2 that might be of interest? I'll make the feature story along with the article. Something a little, you know, with a lot of excitement. You know how it's are.
Well, this dance hall racket might interest you.
Dance hall racket.
Long story. If you've got the time, I can...
Well, I've got the time. Can I hear the story?
Helen, bring me in the dance hall racket. might interest you.
So we're sitting here looking at these rivets, and the upper corners are basically impossible, right? So yeah, tried the 5/32 Cherry Maxes. Are supposed to go in there, but I can't get a puller, even the specialized puller, to do it, and I'm not going to spend $1,000 on a specific Cherry Max puller. That ain't just, that's actually somewhere in the realm of like $2,000. There's no way. So I was talking to an A&P friend of mine, and he said, you know, I had to reattach the flap on a Piper once, and I had no access. There was no way to do it short of tearing the skins off. And I was using, I did it with structural screws, because when torqued properly, they are stronger than the rivets. And he said, and the number 8 structural screw is only a tiny bit bigger than these rivets. I said, oh, you know, that's a damn good idea. So we got a super long number 19 drill bit. We're gonna drill that out from number 20 to number 19. Toss a number 8 structural screw in there with a Nylox nut on the back, and let's see how that works.
Story. Thanks a lot for the story, Inspector. I'm sure we got enough.
All right, so had to get really tight in there. It was a pain in the butt. Had to get my wife to hold the wrench on the other side while I really just leaned into the screwdriver over here. But there it is. Those two are in there, and they are as tight as they're gonna go. So those are, what are they? AN 525 832 R10, an AN 365 832 stop nut, and an AN 960-8 washer is just about the perfect size. So these 3 pieces of hardware here, about the perfect size to really do those. But man, they are a pain in the butt.
All sounds come from the movement of the air, back and forth, like waves.
I don't see any waves.
See the string move back and forth?
I have seen strings and rubber bands move back and forth, but I've never seen a sound wave.
You can't really see them, you hear them. You could see them, they look like this. Different kinds of sounds make different kinds of sound waves. A low sound makes a different wave than a high sound. Than a high sound.
Let me show you something. Let me show you something.
All right, that concludes the metal work on my left wing here. Took me some amount of hours here, over there. I can't remember where I put that number. I haven't put the fuel tank back on yet. That's going to be another probably 30 plus minutes, maybe another hour. I have to put these wires back through. Those are getting some new connectors on them. I'm going to Deutsche style connectors, so I'll connect that up right here. So that's going to be a little bit more time, but you know, I wouldn't count that as part of the remediation of this, other than the fact that you have to put your wires back through and put them back in a connector. Okay, I guess some of it could be counted. Gotchas for this, I would say, now we can't see it because it's already completed, but you know, on the flap rib, take your time and use a really long drill bit specifically on these upper corners. If I had to do it over again, which I do, the other wing is still not done yet, I would really, really take my time to try to remain centered on specifically the 2 corner holes, because I would, and maybe even all of the top row. What I'd really like to do on the second wing is set those first, like with as solid rivets. If I can remain clear of opening up those holes, so if I can keep those holes from opening up to, from having to open up to number 20, that makes bucking them really easy. And I mean, I guess that goes for all of them realistically, but particularly this top row is really hard to do as Cherry Max. You think like, okay, I'll just put some pop rivets in there, it'll be easy. Not as much as you might think. So definitely take your time on those specific ones. The rest, pop rivets, those Cherry Max will go in there just fine. Also, to do with the Cherry Maxes, if you happen to widen out these holes, any of the countersunk holes on the doubler here for the rear spar, you're going to have to use a 5/32 countersink and dipple die, or probably a number 8 for number 8 screws. Obviously, you upsize them to number 20 if you did that. I didn't do that on anything but this one right here. Everything else was cleanly taken out. So that's that. Yeah, you probably use the number 8. You might have to sand down the pilot a little bit. Otherwise, pretty straightforward. It just took a long time because I had to get a new root rib because Van sent the incorrect one in a bunch of these kits. So good luck to anybody doing this. It's been not fun, and I don't recommend it. But if you'd rather do this than pull your wings off at 1,000 hours, don't pull your wings off. Do this first. Have a good one.